let's start this little talk out with a question. And here is the question. Have you ever noticed that everyone in society, and I mean everyone from the top all the way down to just the masses, has this deep intrinsic need instilled in them that says, what is my purpose? What am I doing here? What is this for? Like what's the point? And that, of course, pertains to our own personal life. These are personal questions that nobody expresses, but the intrinsic need to wrap the mind around the question is there nonetheless. And have you further noticed that, and this is in every single case, people that get lost in distractions like, okay, I'm addicted to drugs, I'm in all kinds of trouble, I'm rambling aimlessly through life, I'm just floating through this place, and I have no clue, and I'm just living this life with no direction, and just this feeling of like, why, what, who cares, let's just distract ourselves. Here, take this, take that, take this, anything for the moment of distraction. Anything for a moment of distraction. And distraction from what? Answering the question, of course, the primary question. And the primary question is, of course, what is purpose? My purpose, life's purpose. There's a purpose. Okay, I hear it. But what the hell are you talking about? Life purpose. What the hell does that even mean? This is part of being a four-component human. In other words, a human being. It's part of it. Greetings, human. We are born this way, and nothing anyone could ever do will ever cease this idea of who, what, where, why, how. But we can, and we do, and it has been done for a long time. Distract ourselves. And why do I bring this up now? Because this is a very different and unique time in the history of this earth. We're in a very, very different place, like nothing else we've ever seen. And I mean that, long before any of us were ever alive. Long time ago. Maybe alive is a little too strong, but long before any of our lifetimes that we currently understand it as they are now, long before that, this has been going on for thousands and thousands of years. We're intrinsically born into this, and it is not going to cease, and it's not supposed to cease. That's supposed to be in there. That is like a homing beacon. It is a homing beacon in terms of it is tuned into our four-component self, which emanated from something else. Now, we can think of this word God if we want to here, and it would cover a lot of ground, but that might be a little vague. But what's not vague is we're born into this environment of planet Earth just this way, and it's happening for a reason. All humans have a design that make us very, very different than the animal life on this planet. Their life too, okay? They matter too, their life too, all right? But they are not humans. Humans are intrinsically designed and born a different way than the animal kingdom life, a different way than the plant kingdom life, a different way than all the other kingdom lives. We're born a different way. We are born with the ability implanted in us, and we're going to talk about this very deeply, to be able to transcend and ascend as beings, okay, as beings of the cosmos. We have the ability for this. The animals do not. Okay? No, they're animals, and that's who they are, period. But we are not animals. We are human beings on planet Earth. Greetings, Earthlings. And we are beings that can understand because it is designed into us to transcend and to ascend to higher and higher vibrational frequencies, levels, or whatever whatever you like to call it. We're going to go into this deeper. Now let me pose another question to you so that we can go into this deeper. We're going to take it from this direction because this is probably a simple way to get it. Have you ever noticed that there are in our societies, doesn't matter where you are on this earth, doesn't matter. In our societies, there are low frequency people and high frequency people. And have you noticed that the low frequency people have not really run into their ideas of purpose or even ask about it or anything like that from the point they're low frequency people? And have you also noticed that when the low frequency people come to the idea deep inside them that, my life is kind of aimless. Let's try and hang around with some high frequency people whose lives are not so aimless. And let's give it a shot. Have you noticed that these people, these low frequency people, slowly but surely become less and less and less aimless and less drifting? Okay? Have you noticed that? And we're talking every society on Earth. I don't care if you live in in one of the jungles environments where it's still tribal. Have you noticed this? Because this happens. This is the way it works. This actually happens. We're not designed to be all alone, all by ourselves. No earthling is designed to be all alone, all by themselves. Every single earthling that ever existed is supposed to be part or tied to or connected with other members like themselves. We're not supposed to be alone because we're supposed to interact. That's why we all do. But what actually happens when low frequency people start hanging around high frequency or higher frequency people? What happens? Why do their frequencies raise up a little bit? Why is that? It's very much a physics thing. Our lives are so intrinsically a physics thing. It would blow your mind if you ever ran around just thinking about it 24/7. Your mind would be like, huh? What? Whoa! Oh my God, that's amazing! Oh! Organized Christianity hasn't done us any favors by confusing the spirit component and the soul component as the same thing for century upon century upon century. Hadn't done us any favors. Not us that are living in this time. Okay, so the four component thing, the understanding of that, super important, because we're going to go into the energy part of it now, because we're talking about transcendence, ascending. The reason they did that was because, of course, religio-politics. Oh my God, the Eastern thing might get a foothold in our territory. Oh, come on, please stop already. Stop. Life is just life. Earth is the way Earth is. Earth works a certain way. The humans work a certain way. Whether you have to dig that up through this piece of understanding or that piece of understanding, who cares? As long as you dig it up, that's what matters. So religio-politics should go screw itself. And I mean that quite literally. Okay, that's the harmful part of religion. Religio-politics is the harmful part of religion. Territorial religio-politics is absolute nonsense in this time. This is a different time. And we need to wrap our minds around some very important stuff so we could take our lives into another different direction. Okay, enough about religio politics. I'm going to pop a cork and probably blow a few, so no more on that. Not in this talk. But let's talk about the energy of transcendence, raising your frequency, and how it has to do with the spirit component. And I'm going to borrow from the Eastern philosophies, okay, the Eastern philosophies on this, because they have done in-depth stuff on this for a long time. And also because I actually lived for decades experiencing experiential understanding, experiential knowledge, experiential amazements that were Chinese Kung Fu Chi, internal Kung Fu Chi oriented experiences. That's who I am, way down deep. And there isn't one shred of doubt in my mind that I am more than beyond certain that this life I lived is going to be helpful. This point of view that I have because of the life I lived is going to be very helpful to this time, which is why I'm doing all of this stuff, okay? It's a different look, okay? These two things, or this life that I've lived and all of these things that I've experienced and looked into very deeply to get an understanding are very helpful, quite frankly. Especially when it comes to the physics energy part and the vibrational frequency part, which we're going to go into right now. Stand by. All humans have what I'm about to explain built into them as humans. That's what makes them human. That's what gives them the ability to transcend. We have a part of ourselves that is tied to the spirit system of the four components, the spirit system, and that is the energy system. It is the chakra system, the meridian system, the chi system, the nerve point system. And if this is starting to sound a little bit kind of like ancient Chinese chi healing, that's because it is. That's what I'm explaining it to you from. I'm experiential in this, okay? Experiential in this. That's why I know how to talk about it and boil it down to some very, very simple stuff. It is part of what regulates your vibrational frequency, what tune you're tuned into, what radio station you listen to, more or less. Only from the four component level and the cosmos level, how this all works, what we are and what God is. This term God that we all have, we all throw around. It's born into us, what we all have, what it is, how it works. Now, do not get lost in this, because I'm going to start rambling here real quick, and I'm going to throw out some terms and ideas. Just rewind a little bit. If any of this seems like, oh, I didn't pick that up good, and if you have to go to Google, go to Google. It's not a big deal. The lowest common denominator of the spirit component of the four components of the human existence is life force. That would be chi, or whatever culture you come out of, the same. Ka, chi, ki, mana, prana, whatever. Who cares? Your system, in other words, your body has a system designed by a very brilliant whatever that it works through, okay? That this life force works through. When your life force leaves, you're a goner, you're dead, you've croaked, it's over. Now you're in a new place, and a new time, and a new existence. But guess what? Right now while you're alive, right now while you're listening to me, obviously you're alive. You wouldn't be able to put your hand on the thing and click the little arrow saying play. It wouldn't be possible for you. You'd be in a higher dimension. Well, we hope you'd be in a higher dimension, and you'd be in a higher place where you'd be interacting with pure spirit, okay, in that moment. I'm going to hope and pray that you don't end up in the scary places, but because there are scary places, they're designed into the cosmos. However, we're not talking about that. We're talking transcendence, ascension. And part of that is densities too. Dimensions and densities is part of that. That's more like pure spirit being stuff. We're not going to really get into that. But the system of ours, the spirit of the four component, that spirit component, is part of this. It's the lowest common denominator because it deals with chi. Chi is a universal life force energy. It's everywhere in every living thing. It's part of, think of the movie where Young Frankenstein, Mel Brooks, long time ago, it's alive. Yeah, that's chi. So when I say, oh, it's a common denominator thing, it is a common denominator thing. Common to the cosmos, common to the galaxies, common to the planets, common to things that have life on them, definitely common to the earth. It is the lowest factor of pure spirit, okay? And it's in us. We don't know it's in us. We don't know we can wield it. We don't know we can tap into it. We don't understand any of that stuff because of how we think, and because a lot of the thinking here on this planet has been designed by the bad guys to make sure we don't transcend ever, make sure we don't ascend ever. And why? Because we can alter paradigms it's designed into us. Okay, back to the chakra chi system, back to the chakra system, back to the meridian system. What the way this is designed is that you can regulate this stuff to come up to higher and higher frequencies. You can regulate this stuff to be enhanced. You can regulate this stuff to become really super powerful. And because it is the lowest common denominator, then it is tied to a whole bunch of stuff, including the creative force itself. And therefore, you start vibrating at a vibrational frequency that is of the creative force itself. You know that thing that every single religion of the light that's ever existed on earth. Okay, now we're talking before Jesus, before even Zoroaster. It was a long time ago. Has always made it clear, hey, there's a little piece of the creative force inside of you. There's a little piece of God inside of you. Yeah, this is part of that, what they're talking about. But this is the physics end of it, okay? We're actually talking physics, science, physics here. Learning to simplify that. In other words, understanding that, understanding how it works, learning to simplify that, that goes a super long way in how does a human being, designed as a human being, greetings human, how do they ascend and transcend? How does spirit, the spirit component, spirit actually work? When all of these spiritual teachings, otherwise known as religions, talks about the Spirit of God came over me, I felt the Spirit, blah, 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 blah. All this stuff having to do with spirit. And they're not joking. They're not putting you on there. It's not a bunch of blah, blah, blah. It's the real thing. It works with the spirit component. That's the only way it can work. It works, it generates through the spirit component and through your auric field, your aura. You have to think in terms of physics to understand this stuff. But what happens? It transcends your normal mundane vibrational frequency and starts amping up your vibrational frequency, your vibes, man, your vibes, to something higher and higher and higher and higher over time. That's why when the aimless person just floating around that never questions or never really thinks deeply, when they start hanging around other people that are high level frequency beings, their field is affected because it's all about the physics. Consciousness, energy, and vibrational frequency. That's what this earth is about. That's what it's based on. That's how it works, okay? You can throw anything else in there you want to and add it into the mix, i.e. religions, which are great and fantastic. I advocate them highly, especially Christianity. I advocate it highly, highly, highly. But with the religio-politics inside of all of these religions, there's all kinds of messes created that should not be part of it. But they are. Welcome to Earth. Greetings, humans. So that's what raising, this New Age stuff, a lot of it is confusing as hell. When they talk, we've got to raise our frequency. They're not, they're not joking. I mean, I'm super happy that, even though it's not the path I took, I'm super happy that they stumbled into that or something clued them into that, because that is a hardcore reality. It's always been a hardcore reality. It's been a reality for thousands of years, and it's not going to cease to be a reality, okay? It doesn't matter what expressed God being shows up in the clouds or whatever. It's still going to be a reality, and it still is a reality. Period. That's our design. We're designed to transcend. We're designed to ascend. It's part of our design as a human being. Greetings, humans. It's built into us. It's built into us. And there are ways, maybe not in the American culture, but there are ways to amp this stuff up, okay? I walk the path of one of those ways. Now, it is tough. I'm not joking. It's really, really rough. And, the path, the particular path I took was kind of brutal. Internal Chinese Kung Fu is not exactly an easy, simple thing. But parts of it don't have to be brutal, don't have to be rough. I just kind of needed that to get grounded. That's why I can understand it good enough to explain it to you, though. Many decades of that gives me a deep understanding. Many decades of studying spirit stuff gives me a deep understanding. Many decades of studying physics. Here's how it works. How's the earth put together? I must know, gives me a deep understanding. That's why it's kind of good for you to just take some time out of your day and listen to some of my insane ramblings. Is it really insane, though, or is it super sane? Who knows? I really don't know, but I often question myself. Is this insane or is this super sane? Because, when I go on rambles like this, sometimes a lot of gems pop out. And I'm putting this up there for you because of the times we live in, because there's a mission, a purpose. I feel led to do it, like really powerfully led, like this is super important for me at this time, part of a purpose thing. You know what I mean? Now, here's the good part. There is methods and teachings and all kinds of stuff that say, here's how you work with this science. This is your spirit component science. This is your spirit component physics. Here's how you work with that. I'm going to have a whole bunch of stuff up there that's aimed at this. Now, it's not going to be ruthless and rough, and I'm not going to put you through any of this nonsense I went through. I actually wanted something very different. I didn't want to turn out like this. I wanted something different. But, life is just life. Sometimes trauma, sometimes grief, sometimes other stuff gets in the way that have to be overcome. This is just life. This is life on Earth. Not exactly a 24-hour paradise place, I can assure you. But anyway, that's the whole point of this little chat here, is to let you know, hey, transcendence is born into us. Look at our systems. Look at the 4-component system of the human being. One of them, the spirit system, is super complicated, and it's all intrinsically physics related. CEV, consciousness, energy, and vibrational frequency. All super important stuff. Okay, I'm going to see you in the next talk. This one is, we're going to call it done, good enough. There's going to be more talks But this one's good enough for now. Oh, yeah? I forgot something. I'm going to start putting these on the end. Hey, I'm funding this myself. So if this is helping you and you really feel like you realize, hey, you know what? This is very helpful stuff. Buy some of my stuff. It really helps. Okay? It helps me keep going doing this. Or push the donation button. It's really going to be helpful to me because, this path I walk, or this path I walked and am walking, it's not exactly simple and cheap. You know what I mean? All right. Take care. We'll see you in the next one. Adios.